Welcome everybody, this is your host, Learbach, and you are just in time for a quick look at Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Champion's Ballad DLC, Part 1. The reason I'm saying calling this a part 1 is because I'm only about, say, 2/3 of the way done with the game, with the DLC pack. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't gotten into any of the new content, any of the the dungeon, or the new dungeon or anything like that. I've just done basically a lot of the stuff that's very much feels the same. Now I'll get into that a little deeper here. So, this is, I guess, technically spoiler free, at least at the beginning. I'll try to keep the story bits out. There's a few story bits in this game. I'll try to keep the story bits out of the way, but I will go ahead and say, if you played Breath of the Wild and you're aching for like more shrines, more puzzles and stuff like that, this is the DLC pack for you. It's great. It's a lot. It does feel very much like Breath of the Wild. Like they've not added a thing. It just feels like it's all natural to the world, which is good. That said, if you wanted something a little more interesting, again, I haven't played the dungeon yet, so that might change. But if you're looking for something a little more interesting, the first half of the DLC isn't really gonna kick it for you. So that said, let's go ahead and get into the first two parts of the DLC. The first part being, you return to the starting area, the plateau. You go into the Shrine of Recovery, and you start your trial. You start your first part of the trial by using something called the One-Hit Obliterator. Now, the One-Hit Obliterator is this kind of looks like a paddle, like a really cheaply made paddle with, but it isn't. It can kill things in one hit, but also because you're forced to use it, you can die in one hit. Enemies and bees, lots of bees, will kill you in one hit. I've been killed by so many bees. And so many spikes. So many spikes. But anyway, so the part of that trial is you're out finding 4 new shrines. In order to find them, you need to defeat the enemies in that area. Now, good thing is you have a weapon that can kill things in one hit. Bad thing is, you die in one hit. Other bad thing is, that weapon that seems pretty awesome because it kills things in one hit, only has about 2 charges to it before it has to recharge. It's not a very long charge time, but it is long enough in combat that it could kill you. So you have to be a little more strategic with this one. Other bad news, you can't switch to other weapons. Good news, you can still use your bows. That's what I use mostly. You can still use your bows and your champion abilities. So, actually, no, you can't. You can't use your champion abilities. You can't. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. You cannot use your champion abilities. My bad. So that would be a bad news, I guess. Other bad news, you can die in one hit to a bee. So yeah. That was fun. Anyway, so once you beat the enemies, you unlock the shrine and you do the challenge in the shrine. All of the challenges are based around the fact that you have only 1 hit point. Now that wouldn't be a big problem. You know, you die, you restart where you last left off. Except with the shrines, you have to redo the entire thing all over again. For most shrines, that's not too bad. There's one shrine in particular, I don't think I have any footage of it, where you have to fight a boss, like a little one of the major tests of strength. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I'm a little scared of how this is going to play out. I fought the enemy, killed it one hit, and I was like, oh, well that was easy. There's a little bit more to it than that. It turns into a bit of a maze afterwards, which I thought was pretty unique that they kind of added on to that one. Kind of made it a little deceptive there, but it wasn't all that hard. It was just mainly fighting one or two enemies at a time, which was pretty easy as it already, because you have a weapon that can kill an enemy in one shot. One or two enemies is not too hard. Even 3 isn't too bad if you know how to dodge, if you just maneuver yourself correctly. What really got me was the challenge, and I'll make sure to post up plenty of footage. I'll make sure to get plenty of footage for this one. I think it's called Stop and Go, where you have to avoid spikes on moving platforms. Like, you're on top of the moving platforms trying to avoid the spikes. That's primarily the gist of it. There's 4 parts where you have this one where you have to make a bridge to get across, and the spikes are like alternating up and down, so they kind of cause things to jump up. That one caused a very interesting death for me. I am still not sure how I died on that one. Like, it was just so, like, I'm looking back at the footage of it, like, and I'm like, because I obviously made sure to record it, like, thankfully the Switch had the playback last 30 seconds, and I'm like, how did I die? I'm still, like, looking at it, like, I see how I'm dying. I'm like, it still doesn't make sense to me. Like, it still doesn't make sense to me. It's like, it's just one of those weird things. And then there are other parts. After you get done with that part, that part's not the hard part. Then you have some like moving gears and conveyor belts that you have to maneuver about, and of course they have spikes strategically placed so that you have to move in a specific way to get across. Or you can use what is it? The stop spell. Can't remember what it's called now. I remember Magnesis, Cryonis, and I can't remember the other one now. I want to keep calling it Stopka, but this isn't Final Fantasy. The one time I forget that like I remember I have a hard time remembering Cryonis until yesterday, and today I just suddenly brain farted on the actual other one. Anyway, so you have that one. You can kind of stop 1 or 2 of the conveyor belts or 1 or 2 of the gears, and it helps sort of, but only like at that one part. Then after that, you have some swinging spike balls that you have to maneuver around in the air. You have to fly down, glide down. Again, using the stop spell, you can stop one of them to kind of make it a little easier. I find that if you do the last one when it's like way at one end or the other, it makes it a lot easier, so you don't have to worry about that one. And then you get to the hard part. This part, I died, and this is what caused this shrine alone to take about 30 minutes complete. You're running down this very narrow path, being chased by a spike wall, and there's these spike structures shooting out, so you have to go between them and jump over like blocks and stuff. And when you get to the end, there's this really weird and awkward jump you have to make, because you got like one spike comes down, another kind of pops up right here, so you have to like kind of jump at an angle to get to the platform, because there's a hole in the floor. Of course there's a hole, and there's spikes all over the place, so you can only land on that one spot. But I kept dying because I kept nudging up against spikes, because the jumping in this game is not exactly perfect, unfortunately. It's not bad, it's pretty good for what it is, but it's not Mario. What makes it even worse is you can't climb up the structures in the shrines. So yeah. But aside from that, the rest of the shrines are pretty so. I remember there was one where you were in pitch black. That was actually kind of fun. You had one with lasers. Then you had the major test of strength one. So yeah, they're all pretty clever. I just wish that stop and go one was not so. Anyway, after you beat that, you don't have to worry about the obliterator anymore, because it obliterates itself and actually just kind of rests in the Shrine of Resurrection, as I later found out. And you get your health back. You don't have to worry about that. So thank God that's the only part that's that problem. Or thank the goddesses, I should say. If we're going to do Zelda, if we're going to pray to God, we should pray to the right ones. Pray to the ones in our games. So thank the 3 goddesses that's the only time you have to worry about that. Now after that, you have 4 more areas you have to go to. You have these 4 little tri-pillar stations. Honestly, they kind of look a bit like Zelda style save stations for Metroid. They're like save stations or map stations for a Metroid game put into a Zelda game. If that makes any sense, I'm sorry. That's how it looks to me. We go up to them. They have like pictures on them, 3 pictures on them, a top-down view of the world, and you have to look on your map, try to figure out where it looks most like that, and then go to it, complete the challenge there, which casts the Rito bar that you meet throughout the journey will give you some clues on where to go, thanks to his master's old melody. Which that's the only story bits I'm going to give away right there. That may sound like it doesn't make sense, but it does if you actually read if you're into the story. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible, and I don't consider that a spoiler because that's actually part of the mechanics. So he'll give you some clues, what you have to do to unlock the shrine. For example, for the Gerudo trial for Urbosa or Naboris. It doesn't even sound like I'm saying it right. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right because it's hard to pronounce. But anyway, for Urbosa, the champion, for her trial, you gotta, for example, you gotta fight a Moldu King. I said it 3 different ways. I'm not even sure which one's the right way. You gotta fight a giant sandworm, and that'll unlock a shrine. Another puzzle, and this is a puzzle that all 4 of them have. You find a ring and you do basically a time trial through the rings. For example, for the desert, you have to go on a sand seal and go through all the rings on the sand seal. For Rivali, you have to snowboard down or shieldboard down a mountain. Daruk, you have to glide down a mountain, and for Mifa, you have to climb up waterfalls. Yeah, that's like they all 4 have the same kind of challenges. Kind of unfortunate they have that challenge, but I guess they couldn't come up with anything else, or I guess it's good theming. Not quite sure how Daruk's. I feel like maybe Daruk and Rivali should have swapped. Because, for those of you who haven't played the game, go and play Breath of the Wild first before you start seeing me talk about DLC. Come on. But if you're still here after that and you still insist, well, Rivali's a Rito or a bird person, Daruk's a Goron, or, basically a big bulky dwarf. The Zelda equivalents of dwarves, I guess. They're the ones that they mine, they build, they're big, tough drunkards, even though drinking isn't a thing in the Nintendo world. I mean, it is somewhere. It's gotta be somewhere. Anyway, so going back on topic there, to do that, and then the other 2 challenges are usually one's usually. No, hold on, I'm trying to think. No, all 4, the other 2 challenges for each of the champions are rather unique to each other. Anyway, after you get done with that, you unlock the shrine for that, and you get an emblem for whatever divine beast that is. So for Urbosa, you get Nabura's emblem. For Daruk, you get Ruta. Rivali, you get Meadow. Mifa, you get Mifa's Ruta. I forget what all of them are. I forget what they all are. They're weird names. Anyway, so you get the emblem for each divine beast in that area, and then afterwards you fight that boss again from that temple, from that dungeon, from that divine beast boss. Except this time you're wearing the champion's attire and weapons. So for Urbosa, who was the first one I did, you get the Gerudo Vo outfit, the male Gerudo outfit, and you get Urbosa's weapons, the Fury Blade, I think it's called, and like the Sun Shield. I think that's what they're called. It's what her special weapons are. And that's it. You get just that. For Rivali, oddly enough, Rivali's the only one you don't get. I don't think you get his bow in it. You get like a feather sword, which is like it's like a lightweight dagger essentially. It kind of looks like a dagger, but it's kind of like a short sword. But then you get like 3 different bows, and for some reason, I don't think any of them are this Rivali's bow, because like, every champion you get, you have like special items you can acquire from them once you beat the Divine Beast. His, I don't think it might be. I might have to just replay that boss just to see. But I don't remember any of them being like the Great Eagle Bow. I think that's what it's called, the Great Eagle Bow. Anyway, so you refight the boss. You're in the attire. You're using the weapons, and that's about it. I mean, I found it a bit challenging. I found it a bit challenging at first, particularly with Urbosa because you don't have a bow. But it's not too hard once you figure out the trick, and that is spam Urbosa's Fury. Whenever you can't reach the enemy, whenever the enemy starts flying about, use Urbosa's Fury. That's how I was able to beat them every single time. Makes me glad I did Urbosa's first, because you get because after you beat the boss, you get a little bit of a story bit about the particular champion in that area. So if you beat, say, Thunderblight Ganon at Naburis, you get information about Urbosa. You get a story bit about Urbosa, which, by the way, is probably one of the coolest cutscenes in this entire DLC pack is with hers. Oh, it's amazing. But then you also upgrade that champion's ability. So Urbosa's Fury, which lets you basically cast a thunder wave around you, like an orb of thunder around you that just shocks everything in the vicinity. It's on a shorter cooldown now. In fact, all of them get cooldown reductions. That's how you upgrade an ability. Nope, that's not giving you more uses. It's just make the cooldown shorter. Which, for Rivali's Gale, for example, that actually works out because Rivali's Gale usually has a cooldown of 5 minutes. Now it's 2 minutes. Urbosa's Fury, Daruk's Protection, Mipha's Grace. All 3 of those have like a 10-minute cooldown. Now they're down to 5. So okay, that's gonna make them way more useful. But more like for Urbosa and Daruk's, having more uses on them would have also been nice, especially with Daruk's Protection, because that thing only has 3 uses before it has to charge. I guess having more uses means that it'd take even longer to charge because you're not going to be using it as much, and you have to use them all before they charge. So yeah. Anyway, with all that said, we're about at the stopping point here because that's about as far as I've gotten. Once I get done with the dungeon and the rest of the DLC content, I'll do a follow-up video, kind of like a spoiler version, let you know what I think about the story, whether or not my opinions have changed on any of the characters, or because they do add more stuff to the characters and to the champions, so you get to know them a little bit better, and then I'll let you know about what I feel about the final DLC, about the final bits of the DLC, the dungeon. I know there's a boss fight. I don't know what it is. I know there's at least one more boss fight, and the special item you get for beating it that they completely spoiled at the Game Awards show, but I'm not going to say it here in case you were avoiding that stuff like the plague. I'll let you know how I feel about that personally after I get a chance to play around with it. But yeah, with all that said, I'll go ahead and end it off here for now, and I'll see you guys later.